Okay, here we are at the very end of our project. So just kind of a review. We started our project by creating our base chain stitches, and then we did the half double crochet back and forth. Now to get the size that I have here, I chained 28 and then came back and did 27 half double crochets all the way along. So 27 stitches of half double crochets back and forth in each one of my rows. As I worked my way up here, I ended up with 21 rows. Now, the dimensions of my washcloth with those numbers that I just gave you, it's about 8.5, almost 9 inches wide, and then I'm about just shy of 8 inches long. Now, the beautiful thing about this washcloth is you can have more base chains to make a wider washcloth or less to make a smaller one. Additionally, for the length here, it's really not so much about the number of rows, it's just a matter of how large or small you want it. So like I said, I did 21 and it got me about that size. I always kind of look at my hand and think, okay, can my hand comfortably fit on here? And when we think about a washcloth, maybe, you know, something like this works really well. So it's not always going to come out perfectly where my number of stitches is going to equal your dimensions, and that's okay. All right, that's really a matter of a little bit of tension or tightness or looseness of the stitches. So so that's about where I'm at. So all half double crochets here. Now I am ready to do my last couple on my very last row here and then fasten this off and weave in my ends. So I'm going to put my hook back in here. I'm going to wrap around and I'm going to finish up. I've got these last two half double crochets. So I'm going to pull through here. I'm going to yarn over one last time, go in that very last stitch there, and then I'm going to finish my stitch and pull through. Okay, so I've got this loop on my hook right here, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that loop there, and I'm going to then cut off a length of yarn, something like right about like this. I've got to weave this in, so I want to have enough length to get it onto my yarn needle and then weave it in. So all I'm going to do is I have this loop here. I'm simply going to yarn over one last time. I'm going to pull through, and there it is. That's I'm tying it off right there. That ends that stitch, and I'm just going to kind of snug it up just like that. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to weave it in, okay, so that it can so that we won't see the ends. And I'm going to then do the same thing on the end that I started with, because I've got these two little tails right now. So I am going to put the end of my yarn here into my yarn needle. Come on. Okay, and just make sure you don't split the yarn. And then have a little bit of a tail here. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to kind of switch this around this way. All I'm going to do is I'm going to weave back in the direction that I came. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth here. And you can go in between the stitches, but you can also go in between the yarn too. And that's kind of the nice thing about the yarn needle. You can kind of get in there without having to, you know, without having to use a hook. So I kind of went that far so far. I'm going to go a little bit farther. Then I like to go down a little bit. It's just kind of, you know, if this starts creeping back out, you know, and it can over time, and I don't know that it's a huge concern, but we want to make sure that it kind of sticks in there. So I'm going to go down like a set of stitches here so that it just kind of makes sure or ensures that it's not going to come out. And then I go back a little bit. And again, this is quite random, and you can use your best judgment on how far you want to go. There we go. Now, as we look here, you can kind of see, I'm going to snip off this little end here nice and close. And now you really can't even see that I wove anything in. So it blends in really nicely. We're going to do that very same thing on the very first little tail that we have here from when we started our project. So we're going to come back in here. Okay. And I'm going to do the very same thing, kind of weave back in and out along that chain that we created. Okay. And then I'm going to come down and then back again. Okay. And again, this is not an exact, it's just to make sure you kind of hide it and make sure that it just looks like it's nice and finished. And it helps to keep everything in and not allow it to unravel. Okay, so here we are. Here we have our finished half double crochet washcloth. Everything is all set and weaved in. Now again, the half double crochet is one of those foundational stitches. This is a great project that we were able to kind of practice doing that. And what I will do is I am going to link the other videos in this series to get to this point for this half double crochet washcloth down below. And then additionally, if you liked what you saw here, please hit that thumbs up. And then also, I hope to have you subscribe to my channel and be part of my community. So, so goodbye for now, and watch for more projects.